Blog Talk Radio.
Hey guys, this is Those Guys with your host, Matt Marrero, along with your other host,
Liz Novak.
What? What? Who are you? I don't know you. You're strange and different.
I'm
this
a Time
is
Lord.
weird.
What? Who are you? Where am I? What year is this?
What?
Damn.
What? Liz
Where
is
did I
just
land?
talking about some of her fan fiction. No, you're not. No, you're not. But
Shush, nobody knows
yeah.
about that.
By the way, you were about to, as if no one knows that you're a writer. Fuck that. So no, you put, you were going to say at. Were you going to give out your Twitter?
What? No.
Oh, because you were like, Liz Novak at, and I'm like, is she going to fucking give out her Twitter? Liz, we don't do that here. I mean, we have personal Twitters that you can totally, follow us at, but we don't do that here.
No, I wasn't doing that, I swear.
Okay.
No, I was trying to say hi.
Well, you just did.
No.
I don't mean to be an asshole. You're great. I'm happy to have you on the show. And
Thank
here
you.
we are talking about. You know what's really funny? I've already had three other. Well, no, you're the third, right? Person that we've had on this show. Like like we've had one of our hosts, Katie Engesser. We've had Tristan Walter, who many of you will know from our Dragon Ball Z and Bleach movie podcast. But it's really funny because each and every time we get a new host, now I just keep on thinking, is it a regeneration? Is that what it is? Are you just the same person the entire time? Like, what's going on here? Like, I'm a little confused. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like,
my secret.
Damn.
Yeah. Well, now I have nothing new to say. Yes,
so I've been making out with Tristan the entire time? I mean, I'm okay with that. I think it's just the lying that feels weird.
I guess you are. No, because I am myself. But, well, yeah, I guess. Geez. Maybe you are.
You can tell how much we liked the episodes. No, I'm kidding. All jokes aside, it's really funny. Like, when I first started off this series, right, a while ago, because, yes, if you're listening to us live, there is a gap between, when we're podcasting. And if you're listening to us in the archives, hello. Right?
Hi.
Hi. There's no gap. You're doing just fine.
Hello, future people.
Hello, future, right? Hopefully, you weren't listening to our Raw shows where we made the joke. The entire future is just complete apocalypse, just annihilation.
Yes, I listened to that
somehow,
one.
Oh, okay, you did that. But somehow our archives, we've survived. Like, our archives have survived the apocalypse.
Yeah.
Not sure how, but yeah.
Talk
but
about,
anyway.
Zombieland.
Right. But anyway, so,
Twinkies.
Yeah, we haven't done these in a while, and I haven't done this in a while, so, I had to jump back into it, because I really thought, we should really finish these, and I love Doctor Who, so let me jump back into these, and they actually were better than I expected, because, I don't know, I didn't like the way this series started off, and also the fact that, Clara's still here. And
I know.
Nothing against Clara as a character or anything. It's just a few things. The idea that, and I think we mentioned this on the first show, the idea that it feels like her story is done. So it's kind of like and granted, it's not a character's fault if her story is done, because it's the way that, recently these characters have been written to serve that purpose, instead of being like a kind of slice of life show where it's just, let's go on adventures. No, they're given these purposes of just life or death, right? Bum, bum, bum,
yeah,
bum,
right.
bum, bum, bum. And then all of a sudden, their purpose is over. Like, survived, or, this, occurred and the universe is restored and the doctor's safe and everything's great. And then it's just, but we keep on going.
Yeah, I thought Clara, the first time around when she was almost like a nanny, I actually liked her back then when she was watching over those two kids, and now, she was the impossible girl. But now it's just like, Clara, what are you doing? You've got another life now? What happened?
Exactly. So, I mean, technically it was always that life, but yeah, I get you. I mean, it was just a thing where it's just, hey, so we... it felt as if it was like, great, you're done. You can come back, you can cameo. We would love to have you, but you're done. And then she hasn't left yet.
I know. And she was supposed to, and she didn't, and it's just like, no.
It's just one of those friends that, you they crash on your couch because, they had to crash on your couch, and it's totally cool because, hey, maybe they were too drunk and you don't want them to drive home, so they crashed on your couch, and then it's the next day, and they just don't know that they have to leave. Like, they don't get it.
I guess you're trying to tell me to get off your couch?
Well, no.
I see how it is.
Well, I'm doing this podcast solo, everybody. No, but seriously though, it just, again, as we mentioned before, just, she had she did her thing, and she's still here, and also the fact that, and this was really big in Listen, apparently, and I hope I'm using this word, this correctly, she's the fucking nucleus of everything the Doctor has ever done now.
Basically,
so it's even weirder. So it's even weirder because, now it's like, oh, let's give her new purposes and still have her tied to the Doctor in just ways that I don't feel comfortable with. Like, I feel as if, and it's funny, right? Because I looked at Rose, and I know you're a huge Rose fan, and I enjoy parts of Rose, parts of, when she appeared. I do. I'm not that huge into like the Rose Doctor romance, but hear me out here. And also, please don't stop listening. Everyone who's a fan, just nope. Yeah, screw this. I'm out. No. But anyway, it's just the idea that I don't like the idea that it feels like there's only one companion. And I mean that when it's like, yes, every series you may only have one companion, maybe two sometimes.
I totally get that.
It's okay. But I don't like the idea that some of the head writers are doing with each and every, like companion/doctor change, where it feels as if they're the only companion that has ever existed. And, I have some problems with some of what Russell T. Davies wrote, but I really enjoyed the way he, after Rose, made it feel like there was a connected universe.
Wait,
what?
After Rose is in, like, companion-wise?
Yes, because with Rose, it felt like just, only companion, the most important in the universe, and then after that,
I mean, for a while she was,
more.
For a while she was,
like,
but I mean, but you also had Mickey, you had Jack,
No, but when I say
you also
only, I mean like the most important, oh my God. And then this is what Clara's feeling like right now. Like, even though there's not necessarily a love interest there, thank God, it's still the idea that it's just so important, and everything she does, she can literally breathe life into the Doctor. I'm going to go out on a limb. I haven't seen any future episodes, but I'm still going to just, don't spoil it for me, Liz, but I'm going to go out on a limb that she can breathe, and her breath, thank goodness, it actually restores Time Lord energy. Her breath restores Time Lord energy, which means that her breath can give him another 5 regenerations. And let's not even talk about her. Let's not even talk about her pee. Let's not even get into that on this show. We don't have that kind of time to talk about what her pee can do for the Doctor. But don't worry. Don't worry. I'm sure next series, or hell, that'll be great for the Christmas special. Keep warm with Clara's urine for the Christmas special. That will just. Don't worry though. The Doctor will just gain. I mean, he'll be near death, and then her urine will just. It'll have a great track, by the way, on the background. It'll be wonderful. Oh, it'll be great. They'll get Danny Elfman. They'll get Danny Elfman to fucking compose the track in the background for the Christmas special. It'll be great.
Imagine like they actually do that now.
I'm really worried. Please don't get any ideas. No, but it's really funny. I don't want to just talk about, let's say, Clara hate, because again, it's not that I hate Clara at all. I love her character. It's just overstayed your welcome to the max now.
Yeah.
But we'll try to keep that calm as we go on. But yeah, definitely this episode, which by the way, I actually really liked Listen a lot. I mean, I think it was an amazing start, right? It has all the makings of a great Doctor Who episode. I would even say go for amazing, And it's just really funny because, like, you look at some of the concepts and you're like, because I will admit, right? I know a lot of people don't like Moffat or Moffat. Whichever one, and I understand. Believe me, I understand how after a while. I mean, hell, I did not enjoy the opening to this season. I think that really kind of shows like maybe I'm a little weaning off of some of my Moffat love. But it's really funny how I sat there and I'm like, wow, I really like these concepts because that's what I usually enjoy. Moffat standalones, right? So I'm like, man, I really enjoy these concepts. These are really cool. Of course he fucking wrote it. Of course Moffat wrote this episode.
I will say, though all of like the Moffat episodes, like though that they'll break your heart, he does give the Doctor like the most wittiest lines.
Yes, I really enjoy, what he does for the Doctor, and I do enjoy his concepts, even though it's kind of funny how, in a weird way, they all revolve around the same thing. And I don't want to say that because, again, it's like, what do you mean by that? Well, the idea of being able either an unseen enemy or losing your memory or, losing part of you, it's just very interesting how that usually ties in together, at least when I think of, let's say, Blink, the general silence, and then this being who I really thought was just going to be the silence. Because they literally said in the episode, the Doctor was just, do you hear the silence? I was like, oh, crap. Also,
and then like the TV going off.
There was just certain things here and there, like things moving. The idea the Doctor was like, oh, if I wrote that, I won't remember it. I'm like, come on. Let's stop this.
I know, right? I was thinking the exact same thing. I actually, it's funny you mentioned that because in my notes it was like, I couldn't have written it and forgotten, could I? I was like, well, if the silence was involved, he could have.
Yeah, it becomes very interesting when you say certain things like, and this was not this series, obviously, but the idea that, the silence, they've been around forever. But thankfully then they weren't. So it's just like, no, I'm pretty sure.
As far as you know.
No, I'm 95% sure that there's currently a poker game being played on a room of the TARDIS with the silence, one of the silence, the fucking a Dalek, a Cyberman, and a Sontaran, just all playing poker. Just when will we destroy him? Eventually. Anyone have a 3? I'm just waiting for something like that to happen because it just seems so normal. Like even in the episode where they went and journey into the TARDIS and everything, I really was waiting for
like awesome rooms with like, memories and stuff too.
Yeah. But anyway, so we're not talking about that episode here. We're talking about Listen, which, I will admit, by the way, the date, right? Because I know for someone like you and I, or at least for me anyway, it doesn't seem realistic in terms of it doesn't happen to me. However, I will admit, looking at that date that both she and Pink had, it felt real in the sense that miscommunications like that happen so much.
Oh, yeah, the awkward dinner.
The awkward dinner. Yeah, the date. So it really felt real. Again, not to me personally. Like, it didn't connect to me personally. But, the idea that I know it happens, I've seen it happen sometimes, or just, like, little bits of it in conversation, I've seen that happen. And it just was very interesting to see where the idea that, he has something that triggers him and she didn't realize it. And she, of course, she's very sarcastic. She makes jokes. And most of the time, they hit home. They're perfect. But, hit home as in they hit and they're great. But then sometimes they hit a bit too close to home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, what do you mean about that?
And then the reverse, right, with him, where he's just, his awkward self is great. And then just sometimes people like yourself.
Yeah. Like, what do you mean about that?
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no. So, yeah.
Well, this is me making an exit. Bye.
Yeah. And then, it was very interesting her just, leaving. Really, her leaving. And then, I don't know, like, I really just enjoyed this entire concept. The idea that I think it's a great way to scare children, but also make adults think.
Yeah,
scare
absolutely.
us, but really make us think. Because, I will admit, I have long hair, but at the same time, if my hair, no, this is very relevant, I swear. I have long hair, so sometimes I'll think I see things in the corner of my eye.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And
this conversation again.
That's why I started putting my hair back. It's longer now, but when it was in that weird in-between length, kind of long, but not. but not down to my ass length, right? I would think I'd see things in the corner of my eye. So now all of a sudden you just have the doctor telling me, oh, don't worry, they're real. Like, there's things, they run around, or it's a thing, whatever, it's there. And it's like, oh, that's great. Thanks, doctor. It's like, it's not like my new bed frame actually has, an underneath.
Yeah.
Like, my old bed didn't have one. The new bed, it does. There's an under the bed now. And it's like, great. All those
Thankfully,
years,
I have a futon bunk bed.
Yeah, you're lucky. Real lucky. Unless someone sits on top of the bed.
Oh, God.
That was perfect. But we're not even there yet,
That's such like a classic horror film move, though.
Yes, but I have in my notes, damn it, doctor, stop screwing with people and taking their coffee.
Right?
Just because. The fact that he sits there and he's like, oh, has anything ever taken your coffee? Well, it happens to everyone. The TV shuts off. Oh, God, that's the thing. And it took the coffee.
Yeah.
No, that was
he's like, look at
your
coffee. No, guy turns around, coffee's gone, pans to the doctor drinking the coffee, and he's like, not too bad.
It's just, oh, my God, that got me so mad. Because, though I have to, also, by the way, the look on Clara's face, speaking of sitting on the bed, the look on Clara's face when something sat on the bed was my face.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, they're under the bed, where's this gonna, just the bed creep.
Yeah, especially like right after she's like, oh, you're fine. See, it's not safe under here. I mean, no, it's safe under here. Nothing can hurt you. See, it's just us. Well, you're not safe if something sits on the bed.
Well, I love that your mistake really made me think, what if Clara said that? Just, oh, you're not safe under here because you're here with me. He's just like, I think I want to go home now. You have no home. You're in an orphanage.
Oh my God.
But it was really
so
cute.
Sad.
Though. We almost didn't even talk about this. It's really cute that because her brain went to him, the TARDIS understood and brought her to him.
Oh yeah.
Just the fact that he. And, of course, he's so young and impressionable, though it's really funny because it always gives me the Back to the Future thought of,
yes.
Of just one day he should probably remember, because if it's for 5 seconds, you won't remember. I mean, hell, you and I we both have lived in New York for a while on and off, right? So we totally could have walked by each other and would have never known.
Right.
Been in the same supermarket, something like that, and never known because, it's not relevant to us until it's just like, oh, hi, my name is Matt, right? So, I mean, him meeting her for 5 seconds, whatever. But it was a few, I mean, granted, he the doctor mind wiped the kid, right? Yeah, the doctor
he
mind
scrambled
wiped the
his
kid
brain.
and turned it into, right, he mind wiped him, scrambled, turned it into a dream, thank God. But at first I sat there and I was like, hey,
I know, I was thinking the same thing, like, he should remember her.
Not just remember her, but, like, he did that for, because even if it was for, like, oh, but it was only for, like, 10 minutes, it's like, yeah, it was a very traumatic experience.
Yeah.
Like, if that was real, if that, like, actually happened to a kid, like, the kid just grows up to be like, so I didn't have any parents. And then I learned that there were monsters trying to kill me under my bed.
Yeah, but it also makes you think, like, if they never went back, if the TARDIS never took Clara back to that, like, that point, and she was like, oh, this is Dan the Soldier Man. If that never happened,
she definitely shaped him.
Yeah. So it's like, I love that.
Yes. Well, yeah, no, that's what Moffat does a lot, and I really enjoy it. The concept of, hey, time travel is always meant to happen the way that it happens. In other words, I love Back to the Future, but I'm not a big fan of the skewed into alternate timelines theory. Dragon Ball Z is also a fan of that. You can definitely tell that Akira Toriyama, when writing it, I know you watched it on and off, Liz, so you might not know, but time travel is involved at one point, and they kind of do this Back to the Future-esque, but also slightly Terminator, esque,
Right.
slightly Terminator-esque, but Back to the Future-esque, like time travel thing, where it's just like, oh, I went back into and then I tried to kill so and so to save time. Wait, oh no, it only skewed it into a different time because it didn't go back far enough, blah 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 blah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So things like that happen. And the idea is, like again, I enjoy the idea of, oh, it was always meant to be this way, because I really feel like time would fix itself somehow, as we saw, even though it was, a long time ago and the rules of time travel have changed in Doctor Who since, the idea of the Doctor and Rose seeing themselves.
Yeah.
And then they disappeared. That concept of just, this really shouldn't happen, and if it does, it's under crazy circumstances, or something is different, like time-altering, body-altering, something where, like, oh, the Doctor saw himself, but the Doctor was like a human. Like he did the whole time watch, stopwatch thing or whatever. Like something like that could happen. But if not that, then, you really want
paradox.
Yeah, exactly. Complete paradox. So it was always meant to happen, and it's okay because it's a dream. And I enjoy that concept because it makes sense, quote unquote. It's like, yeah, she was always meant to go back. This was always meant to be this way, but it's in his, subconscious now because he thinks he dreamed it. So Dan the Soldier Man. Boom.
Yeah.
Also, the Doctor's Where's Waldo joke was hilarious. That's in my notes, and I had to fucking put it in. Because it was just beautiful. It's just, what if he's everywhere, but you haven't been reading hard enough?
Yeah,
and I sat there and
he isn't
I thought,
in every book.
Crap.
Really? Well, that's a few years of my life I won't be getting back.
Yeah. But also, speaking of the Doctor and the kid, right, before we move on to the next scene, I want to mention that I'm very happy that the Doctor can still give inspiring speeches to children. And I say that because when you think about it, we actually haven't seen him interact with a kid as Peter Capaldi's newest Doctor.
Yeah.
So it's been him with adults. And he's very snippy with adults. And it can be funny, but it also can be a little jarring because you sit there and you think, oh, like, is this not my Doctor? Or, I mean, granted, like some of the older Doctors did that a lot. So I think it's more of a, kind of tapping into, like, what the older Doctors used to do, which is great, by the way. I love it. But it definitely is a departure from some of the more recent Doctors. Right?
Well, because I think what they were trying to do also is, like, a lot of people were seeing the Doctor become, like, too human. So what they're trying to do is, like, make Capaldi's Doctor, like, 12, like, see more of, like, an alien, like a Time Lord, like he really is from Gallifrey. And it's like, oh, well, humans, you're so weird.
Well, I don't know. I felt like Matt Smith was, like, human in the sense that at least the first series that Matt Smith was in, Series 5, he felt very odd.
Yeah.
Like he felt odd. But I get you completely, and I understand that that idea. But my point is that he's been very snippy with the adults, and it's fun. But again, like sometimes it becomes jarring, and you're like, oh, does he not care anymore? But no, when he gets near kids, I mean, he can be whatever he needs to be. But if he needs to be more serious, he can be serious. But at the same time, he'll tell the kid, hey, it's okay, everything's okay. He'll make a joke. It's just a thing where he isn't going to sit there with the kid and just look at him in the face and be like, you're going to die here today. Like he will not do that. I mean, maybe. Like, I feel like it can always happen. It can always be in the back pocket. But just the idea that it's our first time seeing him talking to a kid as Capaldi, as the 12th Doctor, and he's just very, you can see that, I don't know, just that optimism. Right, that we don't really get to see from him a lot. But it's nice because I was really worried that it's just, oh God, he's going to be just as mean to the kid as he was to like Clara and everyone else. I mean, he took that guy's coffee, which isn't terrible, but still, it's still something like, because to be fair, he, even though the doctor probably believed everything he said, he still scared the guy and gave himself an alibi to where the coffee, where the coffee would have gone.
Yeah.
The Doctor's an ass.
He really is.
To adults.
But that's what makes him so great.
All right, to adults. But and again, if the Doctor needs to, where like the kid, Pink was like, he took my bedspread, and he's like, humans, right? Like it can happen. But I mean, the kid was safe. The kid wasn't scared anymore. In fact, it was kind of like the exact opposite of, not, of being, literally just not being scared at all. Just, oh yeah, I mean, where's my bedspread? Oh my God,
yeah.
kid.
Yeah, it's like human. You're never satisfied.
Yeah, so he can have that. But, I'm really happy that he was really nice to this kid, to Pink.
Yeah.
I love to say this kid. It's like, we know who it is. Like, they made I love how they gave no shits about trying to hide it. They just didn't. Because usually it's just like, oh, what's your name? Pink. Oh, I've been admiring Pink all along. No, it's just, oh, it's him. Like, immediately just, oh, it's him. Like, I love, like, not even trying to hide it. Like, they just know, like, look, they're just going to fucking put two and two together. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Just
made it so much easier.
Him. Yeah.
But it's like, well, wait a second. It's like, well, read me a story to help me go to sleep. All right, once upon a time. Touch his forehead, out like a light. Boom.
Yeah. Oh, my God, that was cute. But also.
The total
right,
class moment.
Yes. Speaking of supernatural. But yeah, so we, I mentioned time travel before, right? Enjoying the fact of, the idea of this was how it always was meant to happen, right? Yeah. And another example of that, which again is something I really enjoy, is when, is when Clara says, hey, can I redo this? And I know some people might say, oh, come on. But there's nothing wrong with it. She left, and we all know that she left and went straight back home. So and she went with the doctor, did that thing, came right back. It's a complete circle. Everything's fine. Nothing went wrong at all. That's just how it works. And again, it's okay. Though what I really found interesting, by the way, and I think you noticed this too, the fact that they didn't. Okay, they understand that Dan is a soldier. And not in the sense of like, oh, I'm going to go kill people or, but no, the alertness, the same things that, what's kind of interesting because Moffat was writing it, the same things that you would see in either Sherlock or Watson in the Sherlock series. The idea of just that astute observation, right?
Yeah.
So even though it took him a second, because he is infatuated with Clara, still, the second he notices things are wrong, it's like he's starting to really just pick up on things. Like, where's your coat?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
my coat. What's going on here? What are you doing?
Yeah.
What's going on? This is weird. I don't want to deal with this. And I mean, it is a bit frustrating, but I can kind of get it. Like, where did you throw your coat? Why do you look 80 years older? No, not yet.
And then she made the big mistake.
Yeah.
So
it's just exactly. Of her saying oh yeah, that's all weird stuff. I'm very weird, but I can't tell you why I'm weird. Which, by the way, just remember that if to all of our listeners, if you're ever dating someone and you're on a first date, tell them that you're weird, but then don't explain why. In fact, make sure you tell them I can't explain why. Your date would love it. Just some dating advice from those guys. But yeah. But also I really laughed because in my notes I put, oh my God, doctor, why are you wearing that? Because we all assumed it was the doctor wearing the scuba-y thing.
I know.
And then all of a sudden,
it just reminds me of what he wore in the Impossible Planet.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. I thought they were going to be on Mars, but we'll get to that in a second. So I'm like, doctor, why are you wearing that? All of a sudden, my next set is, wait, what? Just in order. I'm so confused. Because, okay, when you saw him take off the helmet, you thought it was Pink like 20 years in the future, right?
I mean, like, obviously, at first I thought it was the doctor, but, then when she sees take it off, it's like, oh my God, like, what just happened?
Yeah, no.
And then, you really think that it was Danny, and then it's not. Yeah. It's like, wait a minute, what?
I laughed, like, I sat there and I was like, okay, so I know a lot of people try to say that Moffat reuses plots. And I'm trying to sit there and I'd be like, no, but he does this different and this different. But I'm sitting there and I'm like, so is this just Amy future plot again? Are we just...
Oh
I
my
was so
God.
confused because I was like, when did the Doctor start? When did the Doctor start being Danny's companion, and then when did the Doctor lose him for about 20 years? So that's all I'm thinking of. And then it's just, oh no, he's from 100 years in your future. And I was like, okay, got that. I was like, yeah, thumbs up. I'm in.
What's wrong?
Right?
What's wrong with your eyes? What's wrong with your face? It's all eyes. Get them under control.
Yes. So, it's like, thumbs up. 100 years in the future. I'm done with that, right? All of a sudden, we're at the end of time. I don't think that's 100 years in her future.
Yeah, they're on the last planet. The universe is gone and dead.
Which, by the way, the Doctor has done that so much. I think he should get a condo there. Like, right? I think he should look into, like, timeshares.
Well, the end of the world, like, so far has happened like 3 or 4 times already.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Well, not even the end of the world. The end of the world, that's fine. That's every FIE, more, comic book, movie, everything. End of the world, every week, whatever. Who cares? But the end of the universe, that's some Doctor Who stuff right there. End of the and then he's always at the end of the universe. He's either the end of the universe or the end of the Earth. It's always the end. But, like, not end of the Earth as in, like, oh, no, the world's going to be destroyed today. No, literally just time traveling to the end of the Earth. Like, oh, that's when it explodes. Oh, Rose, why do you seem upset? That's just everyone on your planet dying. What's wrong? You okay? Come on, let's have a scone. I'm into scones.
Like, you can get some chips.
Basically, yeah. So, yeah, it was Danny / Dan Pink's grandson, who we are
great grandson.
Great-grandson, thank you. Who we assume, like, from the way the great-grandson makes it sound, Clara and his great-grandpappy have a great old time.
Yeah.
Well, the way he makes it sound.
He mentions that, his like, time traveling runs in his family.
Yeah, that was hilarious. Because it's just like, oh God, like, you're doing this. You really are doing this right now. But yeah, also, by the way,
poor Orson.
I want to start quoting I just want to quote something that I found hilarious. She needs 3 mirrors.
I love that at the beginning. Right? It's like, why do you need 3 mirrors? Can't you turn your head? Put your makeup on. I already have my makeup. Oh, well, you missed a spot.
Oh my God. Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like, he, and it's funny because it's weird. I don't want he and Clara to be, or he and any companion that isn't like a Time Lord or some derivative of Time Lord or something along those lines. I don't like him in relationships. Again, unless it's, someone, because he looks at humans, and I don't want to say he thinks of them as his pets, but I've said this on the show before, he's very best buds, great friends, right, with humans.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. So, the way I look at it is, I'm okay with them not being, an item, but it feels like overcompensating, where it's just, the fans don't like Clara. So, not all, but, there are fans that don't like Clara. Let's make sure the Doctor shits on her a lot.
Yeah, right.
And it feels weird because I've mentioned this to you about Supernatural. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Well, I've mentioned this to you off show, about, like, not on the air. But I think I mentioned this to the other Liz last year when we talked about the season finale for Supernatural, where it kind of feels like weird pandering. And I'm not saying that, anything bad about the fans. I'm just saying that generally it feels like, fans, let's say for Supernatural, want Dean and Sam drama, right? Because they want that drama, you end up having a lot of drama. Of course, it's really funny. Just, they want drama, so you get drama. But what I mean is the idea that the writers look at it and go, we have to put more drama, even more. So, like, Sam and Dean are sitting there, and they're eating a hamburger, and Sam's like, I don't know if I want this. And Dean goes, you son of a bitch. And he goes, I can't be with you anymore, Sam.
This is what you get for getting me cake and not pie.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's like, when I eat a burger, I got to be eating it with someone who likes a burger. Crowley, you like burgers? Of course I do, baby. So yeah, just generally,
just tell me
that's how we talk to each other, right? So yeah, no, just generally, I just feel as if jumping back from Supernatural to Doctor Who, it feels weird. It feels like pandering in a weird way, where it just feels like, oh, you don't want a romance? Oh, you don't like her? Let me make sure he does everything but stab her.
Well, I guess it's like a really good change off from,
It is.
You had the Doctor and Rose, and then after Rose you had him and Martha, which I didn't really care about, but everybody else I know liked her. And then my favorite, you had the Doctor and Donna, which was such a great friendship there.
Yeah.
And then you had him all.
You know what it is too, though.
Really
the
wobbly.
thing is, when you look at let's say Dr. Donna, right? First off, I really do enjoy Martha. I just don't like what they did with Martha, but that's besides the point. I like Donna, and because the thing is Donna, she was feisty. She was able to throw everything back at the Doctor. Hell, sometimes she started it, and that's what was fun. With Clara, it feels weird because it feels like she's basically a punching bag, and it's sometimes.
Yeah, but sometimes she's also telling him to shut up and taking the reins, and it's but the show isn't called Clara Oswald. It's Doctor Who.
Yeah, but I still don't think again, I'm okay with them not having a relationship, but sometimes I do feel like it's a bit too much. But thankfully, it is funny. Thankfully he's hilarious. He's funny. Peter Capaldi himself is funny. The lines that they give him is funny. Just sometimes it does feel like it can become overkill. Thankfully, they don't do it all the time. But I feel like, it's a weird running joke. Let's make fun of Clara because of her looks. It's weird. That's what I'm saying. It's weird. But, I guess it's just, it's one of those things where, you laugh because you know that she's really beautiful, so that's why it's funny. Also, weird little tidbit that I'm sure you know about, but before we move on, Clara was in Captain America. Funnily enough, in a 1940s scene.
Yeah, right.
so I think that fits in with the character very well. Not Clara, but the actress. But still, it really fits in a bit too well.
Yeah, Colin.
So anyway, all right. The rest of the episode, by the way, we were laughing right here, but the rest of the episode was scary as hell.
It was.
I sat there and I went, okay, now the adults aren't thinking anymore. I peed a little. I'm kidding. I peed a lot. This is scary. So really though, it was
I know for a fact, I'm pretty sure for a fact we have one listener right now, and I know she's probably laughing her ass off, so.
Great. We have one. What I like is that you can sit here and confirm we have a listener, Matt. Don't worry, because I always make jokes about on the air. Hey, look, we have a Thank you, listener, for listening in. Now I know that we have one. Great. I don't have to be the one listener anymore. Thank you, Liz, for bringing a listener to our show. You've doubled, if not quadrupled.
Well, I'm always a listener, so meh.
Right, so then you were the listener who came in recently, and then now you brought in another listener, so you've literally doubled our fans. Thank you. Thank you, Liz, for doubling our fan base.
You're welcome.
So anyway, no problem. So, all right, as I mentioned before, I'm just not a big fan of Clara. Well, okay, just the general idea of her putting thoughts into the Doctor's head. It was nice, it was cute, and I get it. But it feels weird. It just feels weird. Yeah. Again, it just feels really weird. Where, what other, what's going to happen? Is she going to be able to go back and help the Doctor with puberty? Because I hope, maybe she's supposed to be able to tell him, hey, it's okay. Don't feel weird about that. It's okay. That happens to everyone. See, your body's going through a change.
One thing I do love, though, right before we get into, her going into the barn is, when, she's like, well, couldn't it be potentially catastrophic to meet your younger self or whatever? And he's like, well, we would have ended up somewhere else had you been distracted, but we didn't. And her expression is just well, we totally did just end up somewhere else.
Yeah. But, all right. So how do you feel about that barn scene?
Oh, well, watching it the first time around, because, commercials mess it up, and I was like, nah. But watching it this time today, wow. I find it to be really, really powerful.
Okay.
It's just great. I mean, it plays back into her being the Impossible Girl, where she was really important to the Doctor's timeline.
Right. All right, so then you're okay with her being around if she's actually important to the Doctor's timeline.
Yeah, because I like
To a
that,
certain
you know,
degree.
it pans back to, like, her original arc, you know?
Yeah, so you like
her
references
being,
to her original arc rather than just her being around, because if she's not doing that stuff, then she's kind of just there.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I get that. Which, you know, I get that a lot. So fair enough. Me, it's funny. Like, I don't want her gone. Like, I like her character. You know, her as an actress, I like her character. It's just, you know, to be fair, the same thing happened with Amy and Rory. But then it's funny, because when they were gone, I had cried. I was done. I was like, no, not this way. But yeah, so it's really funny, because I want her gone, but, you know, she's going to get her head chopped off or time chopped off or something. And I'm going to be like, no, this way. She could have been happy.
Right? Oh, man.
But anyway,
Angel Take Manhattan that just broke me. Okay,
right.
but enough of
anyway.
Amy and Rory.
Yes. So anywho, so we have things sort of semi work out in the end, right? I mean, you know, Dan and everything, and you know, what's very interesting too, by the way, before we move on, the idea that she gave the Doctor the toy without the gun, and it's so interesting because that totally is his philosophy, the soldier, but no guns.
Yeah,
so
he always had
nice.
that thing, you know, like, I don't like guns.
Yeah, it was nice, you know, and of course, again, you know, the idea that what's really funny too, by the way, is, did you think that they ended up going back to Dan when, like, because I don't know why, I felt like when she walked out, she was back with Dan, just, you know, but in a different setting or whatever, because it's like, oh, military, and I'm like, oh, Dan? And it's just, oh, you know, whatever, Time Lord, and I'm like, oh, crap. But I sat there, though, and I thought, it was really funny, because I thought, all right, so she's either about to talk to the Doctor, or she just gave a nice pep talk to the Master. I was wondering. I was like, how great would that be?
Oh,
she just gave such a nice pep talk to the Master.
Oh,
She's like,
man.
why are there drums? Why do I hear drums? I touch him and I hear drums. But anyway, so yeah. So overall, okay, I'll let you see. I'll tell everyone on air. Liz tends to have laughing fits sometimes, so we'll let her laugh it out. We'll let her just laugh it out, just on the air. Don't worry, we're only live. It's okay.
I'm good. I got this.
Okay, good. You're good. All right, we're live on the radio. Okay, so how did you feel about this episode, though, overall? Now that we move on, did you really enjoy it? Because again, you said you enjoyed it more your second time around.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. Second time around, I thought, you know, being able to actually sit down and pay attention to it more so than, you know, when it's actually on TV where I can't fast forward or anything.
Right.
It sends out a really powerful message to, like, kids and adults, you know, all around. And it's still, like, you know, because it started out as a children's show, I think it's still, though it had a darkness to it, it still had a really good message, like, you know, it's okay to be afraid of the dark. It's okay to be afraid of something that's not there. Like, fear makes companions of all of us.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. And the way that I feel, too, is that, you know, it started off as a children's show, of course, but it's grown into a family show. And I think that's what's very, I think, important. You know, when you look at a show like this, or even Gravity Falls and Steven Universe, as we talk about a lot, too, on our, you know, other shows that we talk about, you can definitely see that, you know, shows like, even though it's like, oh, well, Gravity Falls is on, you know, Disney, which is really funny because Doctor Who is coming to Disney. So Gravity Falls is airing on Disney in America. Gravity Falls airs on Disney. Steven Universe airs on Cartoon Network. But there's just something about it that it really can be enjoyed by the whole family if you really just let yourself get into it. And I feel like Doctor Who is the same.
Yeah.
You just really can, if you let yourself get into it, you can feel all of the feelings that your kids are feeling. But of course, because you're older, you'll be feeling certain things differently, and you'll of course get certain things that the kids just won't get.
Yeah,
which MoFat likes to
like
do a lot.
Doctor Who is just, you know, it has a little bit of everything for everybody.
Unless of course you're just not a fan of sci-fi, in which case you're done. But right, But if you're allowed to, well, no, I mean,
leave.
To be very fair, if you're just, they'll have episodes that'll have different concepts. Time Heist being a big one that kind of delves into things that I don't see Doctor Who doing as much. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it's time travel or it's space aliens.
Yeah.
Even if they look humanoid, there's still something involved that if you're just not a fan of the overall genre, you're not going to really want to watch it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
basically.
So perfect transition into Time Heist. I think this episode had a really nice start to it, and to be fair, overall, I like the concept of the episode, but I just don't really see the need for it. Like, I really liked again, I like the concept, but not a big fan of it being applied to Doctor Who. Now, what do I mean by that? Of course, with the end, it all makes sense, and I get it. And I really enjoy, what the Doctor did, because overall, it was a rescue mission. Right?
Yeah.
But with the start of the episode, it just felt a lot like those heist movies and a bit of James Bond in there, which is really funny to say that Doctor Who shouldn't have. It's really funny though. Doctor Who should not have James Bond involved in it, which is so fucking silly. Because of course the Doctor and James Bond are best friends. Right?
Yeah, right.
So yeah, they really are. Hell, the Doctor has even met Ian Fleming. It's actually happened before. I don't think I mentioned this on the air, but in comic books, because there are a lot of Doctor Who comic books, the Doctor was traveling around. Basically, it was the Doctor, Amy, and Rory. And Amy was like, hey, you two have a day to just bond. So they just end up going, they're just like, they didn't want to do it, but they were like, screw it, we'll just go through time and we'll hang out, right? And they ended up going through one. Yeah, and they ended up going into, I think it was World War II. And they were like, crap, we're in World War II. Damn it, was not supposed to happen. And they end up, and the Doctor, this is Matt Smith, of course. The Doctor ends up saving this guy, and he pulls the a building off of him partially, some rubble off of him. And all of a sudden the guy looks at him and he's like, a suit and a tie? And he's like, oh, sir, what's your name? And he's like, Ian Fleming. And he's like, so he runs away after that, but still the idea that crap, the Doctor inspired James Bond. Whoopsie daisy.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Jeez. Well, why am I not surprised? Because he inspires so many other things, so why not?
He made pasta, so If you remember that, Matt Smith, the 11th Doctor, made pasta.
And Tennant invented banana daiquiris.
Right. Right. But anyway, so I wasn't a big fan of it, and even with the end and how everything, wrapped up, we'll get to it in a few, but still wasn't the biggest fan. But anyway, so how did you feel about this episode before we kind of go into depth with it?
Time Heist. Well, I mean, this was one where I partially watched it on and off, but watching it this time around, I kind of enjoyed it, but not one of my favorites, but I do like, the concept that it had, because it reminded me of something out of Matt Smith's era. Everything is all connected from beginning to end, and you don't find out that until the end.
Oh, okay. I get you. I will admit I did like the cast. The Teller was cool as a concept, and then learning about him later. I like the two members of the team. They did a good job developing them, though I do think they needed more than just one scene of backstory for the two of them, which I think is it's weird, because I noticed that's a huge problem with Moffat, even though he only co-wrote this episode. But I still feel like with Moffat, he has this huge issue with being unable to make 42-minute episodes. And I say this only because Moffat seems like the kind of guy that his concepts usually work really well in two-parters, but they don't let him have two-parters. So all of a sudden, things seem to get rushed. Well, I mean, I don't know why, because I haven't seen them.
No, Moffat, we've had enough of this. No more killing people. Wait a couple episodes.
Oh, okay, fair enough. But no, I really do think that two-parters would work very well for a lot of his concepts, because a lot of them just seem like things are getting done too quick, too fast and and rushed sometimes. And sometimes, not everything, but sometimes. Yeah. And some episodes just it works it feels right when that happens. Some of them just don't. And I feel like this episode had a bit of it in terms of, again, the side characters. Now, thankfully, they weren't dead, right? But when we thought they were dead, it felt like, okay, I feel sad for you, but I could have felt worse.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, like, the connection between them and the Doctor didn't, like, it wasn't as, like, losing his episode companions in, like, earlier seasons.
Exactly. Because, although I will admit, whenever he loses someone, it does feel, because even though he was trying to move on, you could tell that he would have grieved after.
Oh,
because it was very time sensitive. But you can tell, whenever I think of someone, dying or not dying, and thankfully they didn't die in this episode, I always think of Eccleston. I always think of the Ninth Doctor when it's just, everybody lived. That's what I think about. Yeah, no, it always breaks my heart because that's always what I think about, because it feels so right. Yeah. Everyone living, or when they die, it just really hits because everyone didn't live, because I really do feel like the weight always comes back to him regardless of how he feels on the outside, which you can tell that Clara knows. But of course this guy doesn't know at all.
Yeah.
Also, we got to see all those old Doctor Who villains, which was funny.
Yeah.
The pictures.
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah. Oh God, your sound. Your sound just fucked up the audio. That's great. But I feel the same way though. Because I was sitting there, I was like,
Sorry.
So yeah, it's okay. But I felt the same exact way. I sat there and I thought, holy crap, the pictures. I love it when they do stuff like that. I remember it was a deleted scene, or if it was either a deleted scene or it was one of those extra scenes that they did on the DVD exclusives. And they had the Doctor, being the 11th, Matt Smith, talking to Amy. And I don't know if you've seen this clip, but it was basically Amy saying, oh, have you ever had anyone else on the ship with you? And he was like, well, some. And then she was like, were they women?
I think I saw that.
Like, were they women? He goes, some. How some? How many? Like more or less? A little over. And she was like, oh, so how do I get? Yeah. She was like, so how do I get to access this information? And he goes, oh, you would never be able to. And she's like, well, what would I have to say? And she goes, well, you'd have to say, TARDIS access all of the information on past companions.
Yeah.
And then it did.
The boys and their toys.
Yes. And then you got to see just pictures of all the old, but they were all black and white, which was really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or like when after Melody regenerated and like she was all trying to kill the Doctor, and then it was like, no, more grief. I mean, more regret, like
yeah.
It panned on Rose and then Martha and then Donna. He was like, no, what are you trying to do to me? Give me something I haven't messed up, which was really sad in the sense too.
Oh
like,
no,
that
was really
messes everything up.
Yeah, no, that was really sad. But yeah, so all those old Doctor Who villains was really nice. I love the old black and white touch. And also, something that I didn't get to mention in our listen review that we just fucking did. It was not even like, is that all? The idea that in both episodes, they had this fixation on saying the title of the episode to the point where it just feels like every single episode now I have to go, he said it! He said it! Because we had listen on the board, and then in this one it's a time heist. They said it!
Wow. You're actually right for at least the next maybe 2 or 3 more episodes.
You just spoiled it for me. That's the only reason why I was watching, Liz. Thanks. Now I'm going to stop watching this show because of you. Thanks, Obama.
Oh.
But
ouch.
It's okay. But all jokes aside, I do like that this got caught up in a time travel plot. There was an L in there. I'm going to go back in time and fix that. None of you will ever know. But yeah, I really do like that they... Yeah. Don't sing that, copyrights. We have to sing it one different. We have to do one little note off to just be like, see?
Okay. Not... But time heist. Memory worms. What did you think of those?
It's funny because I think some people, I can see why someone might say they just keep, like why, like those just exist now. There's so many things in the universe that exist. I totally feel like they're just a thing. It doesn't feel weird that they just popped up. What's funny though is again, Moffat co-writes something. Has to do with your memory.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Those little things here and there that a lot of. And granted, it's not like it's his fault because a lot of writers, have that thing. I mean, hell, while you might say, oh, they're, you look at, let's say, certain authors, right? And you're like, oh, well, it's different types of books, but at the same time, Stephen King does horror, right? So it doesn't matter what specifically he's working in, it's horror. You see what I mean? So the idea that, Moffat, he enjoys ideas of memory and, aspects of, things that you can't see and the dark, things like that, obscuring your vision, et cetera, your memory. So I like it. I like those concepts. I really think that they're great to play with. But it's very interesting how even though the monsters might be different and the plot might be different, so in this case it was, again, a rescue mission, nothing truly frightening. I mean, it was a little frightening, but nothing truly frightening compared to Listen or, to the general idea of The Silence or to Blink. It's still the idea of memory. Your memory's gone. Your memory's gone, Bob. Can't remember shit, Bob.
Oh man!
But
I got a couple lines written down too, saved from Time Heist.
Please.
I love the witty lines that he comes up with for the Doctor, things like, come on then, Team Not Dead. I feel like that should be the new Walking Dead motto.
I didn't hear what you just said. Please repeat for my sake. No. I just didn't hear it personally. Please repeat. I'm sure everyone else did, and I'm just the one that's deaf. Please.
You're not deaf. And the Doctor's like, oh, come on, Team Not Dead.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Doctor's funny.
Yes. I feel like that should be the new Walking Dead motto. It's like, oh, well, we're not dead. Come on.
I would love for Rick to say that. That moment when Rick says it as Andrew Lincoln, so it's his British voice.
Oh man, that would have been great if they had said something like that when the governor was around.
Oh God. But yeah. So what is it? We by the way, what's really funny is before I actually saw the end, right? So I have my notes up, and it was really funny because you told me, hey, once you get to the end, Matt, you'll get it. It's okay. So I'm sitting here, and I'm not at the end yet, but I'm pretty close because, I'm looking at it. It's getting close to the end. And I'm just like, wow, she has clones. Okay, this is not making sense, Liz. I love it. Just, Matt, this will make sense. I have clones. This isn't really... Hell, what I thought, right, I actually thought that because she had clones, one of her clones came back to bite her in the ass.
Oh, God.
No, because it made sense. Because it's just one of her clones is go fuck yourself. How do we get out of this? Whatever, I'm going to kill you. I assume that's what happened. But all of a sudden, she's like, oh, no.
Fired with pain.
Yeah, fired with pain. So it's like, oh, no, she just kills them. And there's only been 2 so far. And I'm like, okay. I was like, all right. So, yeah, so that happens. And I'm like, okay. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, it's a rescue mission. And I'm like, wait, where it's everything ties together. Yeah, everything ties together. They're nice. They're happy at the end. She died with regret. So it's a happy party for everybody. It's just really interesting how the Doctor's like, I am the architect. I must be.
Yeah.
Or at least, no, it's really funny. I'm the architect. Doctor, you don't even know yet. I'll make myself the architect. At this point, it's just
all I know is that I hate him.
Yeah, all I know is that I hate him. Doctor, he could be a Dalek. The architect is a Dalek.
No, it's me. Damn it.
To be fair, though, that is actually one of my, one of my critiques on this that I guess pet peeve, if you will. I know that every television show, right? Every TV series, you have to go in with a sense of disbelief, a suspension of disbelief, right? You always have to. But it's just, I really think this episode was weaker than the last one because, look, especially in Doctor Who, by the way, you have to go in with suspension of disbelief. You have to. But this episode felt like it went a good 20 steps too far. That's it. Like, this episode made it seem like every little thing had to work out just right. And, of course, it did because it is the Doctor, and it is Doctor Who, of course. But it felt too much. Like, at any point, it just felt like, no, I want to kill you. Oh, no, I died. Like, it was too perfect.
Yeah.
Even for the Doctor, it was just too perfect. And again,
well,
I'm sure
it
it's
kind of
happened
reminded
before.
me of, hang on, I think it was, when the Pandorica was opening, like all the little things, like he kept, with young Amy and, her drink gets stolen, and then later on it's like, oh, I'm thirsty, can I have a drink? And he just pops out, pops back in, gives her a drink. It's like, oh, so that's how that happened.
Well, no, that I like a lot. I think I mentioned that concept not on this show, but on a different show that we did. I like the idea of, not with time travel necessarily, but generally the idea of, oh, we're seeing different perspectives of something, and then we're seeing how it all ties in together. And it actually happened on an episode of older Simpsons that I enjoyed, where you had Marge, Homer, Bart, and Lisa, and you went throughout their entire day, like each and every one of them with their day, like a different perspective, and then something crazy happened in one, and you didn't know why. And then in the other one, you actually got to see why this happened, and it was caused by another member of the family, by accident, let's say. So it was very interesting, and I enjoy that. Also, the fact that it was kind of end of the worldy, so it's like, sometimes they get passes, but it was weird this time around because it wasn't end of the worldy, so at any point they could have been killed. And again, yes, at any point the Doctor can be killed. Why when everyone shoots it always doesn't hit? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Man, everyone's bad shots in space. Why would you what's up with those stormtroopers? Come on, guys. So it always you always have that thought there. So it's always a thing. But just this episode felt like it was a bit too much. I don't know why, just a bit too much.
I can see that, but it's also going with trying to do something different, and I guess taking that extra step is like, oh
maybe.
Yeah, we'll do this.
Yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe because it was the convoluted bank plan, it became too much. Maybe that's really what it is. So yeah, I can't say that I hated it. I enjoyed it. I really do think it was a lot weaker than the last episode. And even the episode before it, I really did enjoy the Robin Hood one. Speaking of Robin Hood,
that was great.
Yeah,
Mark Gatiss is a genius. So.
Yeah, you love Mark Gatiss. You love his work on Sherlock a lot. Yes, and I understand that. Yes. But anywho, so here we are. We're at the end of our show. I'm sad to say it, but we're here. We're very happy to have you on, Liz. We're actually going to try and do a kind of doctor. Well, we're going to say we actually hated having you. No, but just your yay was just like
the feeling's mutual.
Well, you know what? Nah. But no, but we really loved having you on. We really want to make this a kind of Doctor Who Wednesdays kind of thing. Keep that going. Should probably edit some of our social media to reflect Doctor Who Wednesdays. But speaking of, right, the word, social media, we have a lot of it. If you don't know about us, we have ourselves a website, which is thoseguysontherradio.tumblr.com, where we have a lot of our older shows on there. We have our WWE Raw, WWE Pay-Per-Views, Gravity Falls, Steven Universe, The Flash, Arrow, Gotham. We have Black Dynamite, Mike Tyson Mysteries, Pokemon video games. We have Supernatural, also Supernatural coming to you in the future via our Supernatural Saturdays, which will be both Liz and I talking about the current season of Supernatural. Indeed, the current season of Supernatural. And we have a lot more in our archive as well that, it'd be very long to list here. And again, in the archives, you can find it on thoseguysontherradio.tumblr.com. Now, if you want to look at our newer episodes that are being posted, you can, of course, look to our website, but also look at our Twitter, Those Guys Radio, our Facebook, /Those Guys on the Radio, and our Instagram, /Those Guys on the Radio. our Twitter especially will post some very funny pictures. Those pictures that I find funny, and kind of running it, whatever. And yeah,
they're not
and
funny. They totally are.
Right. And definitely, tweet us, like our pictures, share, retweet, all that fun stuff. And, just get in contact with us because, we really would love to talk to you guys, hear from you guys, hear what you have to say. Other ways to get in contact with us, of course, are our Gmail, which is thoseguysintheradio@gmail.com. You can send us, if you want to, get in contact us, you can send us show ideas, which you can also do, by the way, through our website. You can also send us show ideas. But generally, yeah, just, we really love getting in contact with you guys. And also, if you have anything to promote, you can also send it to us through our Gmail. Anything you want to promote, as in if you want to promote your band, your anything you can think of that's legal, right, that isn't illegal, that you want to promote, please contact us, thoseguysintheradio@gmail.com. So, yeah, here we are. We're done.
Robbing a whole bank. Beat that for a date.
No, it's really funny because now I'm wondering if you're just should we just have you throwing out random Doctor Who quotes as is that what you just do? You're just the Doctor Who quote dispenser? Where just I'm just you're just can I be of assistance? Just out of nowhere.
Exterminate.
Possibly. Oh, God. But, it's really funny. I enjoy the Daleks to a certain degree. Let's not end the show. Let's continue. I enjoy the Daleks to a certain degree. I love that. Just you know what? Screw this. The show's going on. I run the show. I can keep it going as long as I want to.
There's still another half hour.
I end it whenever I want to end it. So I'm going to end it soon.
There's no immediate threat. Warning, intruder. I should stop saying things like that.
But overall, you know what? Now that we're... Stop it. But all jokes aside, though, I'm actually curious because I don't know if you said it, and sorry if you did, and I didn't catch it. Which episode did you like more, Listen or Time Heist?
I don't know. Well, I mean,
great
I guess
insight
I like
from
them.
Liz Nowak. But seriously,
well, I liked Listen for its message that it got across, but I really liked Time Heist for it
action.
Not action. No, this is not Mission Impossible.
Done.
Oh my God!
You have to do the one different, so it's okay. Dun 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 dun.
God.
As you were saying.
I think Time Heist felt a little more adventurous.
Mm.
So I liked it on. It was definitely a little bit lighter than Listen, but I mean,
right.
Words. In a whole, I mean, I guess I kind of liked them equally. Granted, I felt like Listen had more details and more messages to come across, whereas Time Heist was like, oh, we're gonna rob a bank you can't. It's the most secure bank in the galaxy. How are we gonna do this? We're gonna do this when a storm comes.
Right. So the idea to you is that Listen just had a lot more depth to it, a lot more.
Yes.
It was just paced well.
Yes.
Where Time Heist, of course, is going to be fast paced because it's meant to be based on those those heists and stuff like that. Those bank robbing. I mean, the Italian Job, stuff like that. But at the same time, it's it was a bit too much, and it kind of lost a bit. A little bit was lost from it.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I understand that. I already mentioned I like Listen. It's just something about Listen. It felt, again, like you said, more depth and things like that. So I really enjoyed Listen.
It really kept you on the edge of your seat thinking, Whereas
Yeah.
Time Heist was a little more laid back. It was like, I mean, you were questioning things like, why is this happening? The only question was like, why? What, when, why? And I mean, granted, almost all of those got answered at the end. So I mean, it was good. It was Time Heist was a decent Doctor Who episode.
Right.
In its own way.
So yeah, no, I get that. So but yeah, so we're ending the show. As I said before, I'm not gonna. How great would it be? I choose to do the whole social media thing again. And we are no, but yeah, no. Again, just as always, we thank you guys for listening in to those guys. So hang up, Liz.
Never.
Hang up. Click the end button. Hang up.
You'll never take me alive.
Hang up, Liz. Seriously, hang up.
Okay.
Hang up the phone. Did she hang up? She hung up. Now I can talk about her behind her back. No, I just kid. Again, thank you all for listening in. And yeah, see ya.